Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Well, it's Saturday morning and we're just making our rounds, and I came in the room and I thought that Echis ocellatus was dead. It was sort of stretched out, but it really isn't because it contracted, and on closer observation, that's a female and she looks like she's full of eggs, and she's probably not happy with the very dry environment and no place to really build a nest and deposit eggs. So assuming that this is the situation, and that's what it certainly looks like, we're gonna move her to a sort of this box that she can nest in, and maybe drop her eggs in there. So we'll put her on egg watch. Now, Echis ocellatus is the main killer of people in Africa. This snake causes so much death and misery in Nigeria. They made a special snake bite hospital with 100 beds just for treating snake bites by this individual. You know, people are like, oh, the inland taipan is the most toxic venomous snake on the planet. Well, yeah, it's very toxic to mice and to humans. However, it hasn't ever killed anybody that we know of. The only people that have gotten bit are snake keepers in Australia for the most part. So we're gonna move her safely to the rack over here where there's heat, darkness, and now moisture in material that she may be happy to make a nest in. I'll have to get a label for her. So we're back on egg watch, and I'm gonna have to resurrect the incubator that I put away. I guess we can put it up on top here, and I guess that's probably our next step, Dan.
Yep.
Okay, so Semper Procedimus. You can Google that. We're gonna have a peek at the ocellatus eggs. Some have definitely shown that they're dead. That one, that one, that one, and that one are definitely gone. Just to make sure I never throw eggs out in regular waste, I'll put them in the freezer first and make sure that nothing's going on. Probably put a touch of water in there. Humidity is great. I mean, it's not a problem. But I'm just making sure. So let me get a baggie to throw those in. And test it. Sure sign when they start going moldy and shrivel that they're dead. You saw the difference in the eggs that I left versus these. Definitely gone. This is the female Echis ocellatus. She certainly looks like she has more eggs in her. I mean, wow, that's a very tiny head. These guys probably subsist on invertebrates, with lizards and other small mammals ending up on their food list. Come on, girlie. Yeah, she's not, doesn't look like she's doing very well. Yeah, she's got more eggs in there.
Oh dear. Egg bound?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, she's been very listless.
Yeah, there's a bunch more in there. Whether or not they're fertile or not, yeah, she is in trouble. I mean, right up to here, she's full of eggs. You know, I don't have Pitocin. Pitocin is the hormone which is sort of universal across the spectrum of animals that induces either giving birth or actually causing contractions. You know, I just, knowing what the surfaces of eggs look like macroscopically as well as microscopically, they're just loaded. They're like sandpaper. And trying to, I know I'm gonna hurt, kill, or do something really bad to Miss Snake here. If I force the issue. It's time to say goodbye to some babies, baby sawscales that were born here. Their parents were born here, and their great-grandparents were born, their other grandparents. So it's like 3 or 4 generations old. Makes me a little sad to send them on their way, but it's time to move on. Hi, how you doing? I know they're pretty used to me. They expect food when I come to visit. This is a 1.5 years old female. Come on, let's not play snake hockey. I know this is scary. Echis Pakistani sawscale, highly venomous. Despite their small size, they kill more people in the range that they're found than all the other lethal snakes on the planet, perhaps. Echis is the primary cause of lots of death and misery throughout their range. Their venom is highly hemotoxic. People just die in a very miserable way. There's your classic sawscale. Normally they don't do this for me because they're so accustomed to me. They're pretty relaxed, but this is their defensive posture, which gives them their name. They have some interesting scales on the very side of their body in which they inflate with air. Because they come from arid lands, they prefer not to hiss because they're expelling water along with the hiss. They're very quick to strike. If they weren't so damn toxic, they would be really good starter snakes because they're relatively easy to handle. The anti-venom is quite effective and not terribly expensive, and it's really tough to get bit by them. they don't have stuck sheddings because they're used to living in deserts where there's no water to soak. So they're really, really good snakes. They're lovely. They're beautiful. They are quite irascible. But I really, really do like the genus. So it's time for her to go off to a new home. Probably since 2005, I've produced over 100 of these and sent them out. Well, okay, I mean, some don't make it, but you know, I've sent a lot of animals out for people, for the collections, to zoos. I know that's scary, huh? Now that's the female. And here you'll see the male. Males generally are not as good feeders as the females, and they sort of look it. This is a sibling, and as you can see, that's quite a different looking animal. You can see the tail does not taper off so abruptly. So males are much more long and slender. They're not really, really good feeders. They do okay, but they don't pound the food away like the females do. And being F3 generation, these were just very easy to get them started on.
She's going nuts.
On food. I mean, the vast majority of this brood started off on small pinks right away. Whereas a lot of other earlier generations of Echis, they were still preferring to feed on invertebrates like crickets to start.
Oh!
See, I mean, normally she's as calm as anything, and but she's frightened because she doesn't know what's going on, and it's understandable.
Yeah, when we have to take these to shows, it takes them a couple weeks to recover because they lose their trust.
Indeed, and you know, you can imagine if you do something to really frighten them, like restrain them and pull sheds, treat them for some sort of parasite disease, they really lose your trust, and it takes quite some time to rebuild it. So we're going to put those in a bag so I can safely transport them and they calm down. Well, hello, Mr. Reaper. A long time no see.
A friendly neighborhood taipan.
Yes, he's been in hiding because he's been in a shedding cycle. He's cleared and will probably shed at some point very soon, just in time for food on the weekend. Hello, dude. Speaking of irascible, you think, I don't know, I'd probably rather get bit by the sawscale than this taipan if I had to get bit. These guys will knock you down, kill you dead very quick. The sawscales will probably take several hours or a couple of days to do the work. Yeah, taipans are a whole different type of nuclear weapon in the snake world.
Oh, what a happy snake. Come on. Focus. He is going nuts. He just flew across the cage at me from way in the back.
Perfect shitting.
Oh, and again. Hi.